Hello! Welcome to this week's video blog. For this week, I'm going to do my book wrap-up for the month of January. So January had, I think just one DNF, and one book that I loved so very much, and another that I enjoyed. So we'll start with the DNF first, because it's always better to get those out of the way. So the first book that I want to talk about is my DNF that I DNF'd, Jay Kenner's Release Me, and it's the first book in the Damien Stark series, and I've been dancing around this series for a while, because I kept seeing it, but I never picked it up then, but something just made you know what, let's, it's Audible, yeah, it was an audiobook, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's give it a shot. I had my Audible credit to use, so I thought, let's do that. And it just didn't work for me. It was that whole the guy is an asshole kind of thing, but I guess later on the sex is apparently so good that she doesn't mind that he's an asshole, and so convinces herself into thinking that he's actually a nice guy who's wounded and has issues and blah blah blah. Here's the thing. Those can work if the reason the guy is an asshole, I don't mind books where the beginning of it is the two leads don't get along. That whole that's fine. That whole thing where the two leads that they don't get along, which I will prove with the next book that I loved, that in my opinion did it fantastically. Jay Kenner with Release Me, I felt did not work, because it had that whole, they had met before, and they seemed to have a nice, first introduction kind of thing, and then years later he's this mysterious guy that the company she works for needs him for some reason. I don't remember what it was. If it was to invest in their company or something like that. So she's sort of put in front to sort of convince him to be a part of whatever it is that they're trying to get him to be a part of. And she goes to introduce, or reintroduce herself, because it's been 6 years, so she doesn't think that he remembers her, or it would, make sense that that they don't remember each other. She remembers him because he was so hot that he made such an impression, and he was nice to her when they first met 6 years ago, but when they meet again, she goes to shake his hand and reintroduce herself. He completely ignores her hand and pretty much just gives her the cold shoulder and walks away from her. That put me off, number one. And then they start their later on, in the evening, they're in front of this painting, and he's talking about how the model in the painting is that the girl, I forget what her name was, the lead character, Nikki, that she would have made a better, a more beautiful subject that she's more beautiful than the model in the painting, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts asking her like all these like personal, completely inappropriate questions, and sort of hints that like either she's underqualified or overqualified to be this other guy's assistant, and kind of suggests that she's sleeping with her boss to be in the position that she's in. That's when I stopped. That's when I DNF'd, because who the hell does this guy think he is? And I'm sorry, but after that, you can be as hot. Maybe it's because, I don't know, I work in retail, so I see all kinds of like rude customers, and the guy can be hot as soon as he cops an attitude or is rude to me, the attraction is gone. Like, just no. I mean, it was bad enough when Nikki goes to introduce herself or reintroduce herself to him, and like goes to like extend to shake his hand. He doesn't give her his hand. He completely ignores her, or like deliberately like gives her like a cold look and then walks away. I don't care why. I don't give a why. What the hell is wrong with you? And then to suggest that she's sleeping with her boss as some reasoning for like how she has her job? Oh no. No. See, that's the kind of friction and spark kind of thing that I despise. And so many of the like new adult sort of billionaire romance trope things think that that's how you start friction and enemies to lovers. No, this is asshole to nothing, because you ain't getting in there. Any guy who behaves that way to me is not getting in there. I was just disgusted by his behavior. I was so pissed off that I think it was chapter 3 or 4 that I was just, yeah, as soon as that thing about like suggesting that she was like sleeping with her boss, nope, I'm out, goodbye, no. And it's just like, if you're gonna make him an asshole, make it in such a way that like they're both on the same page as to why they're mad at each other. Don't have this oh so hot and dreamy guy treat this nice, polite, innocent girl like shit, and then have her be like, oh, my love will fix him. No. He's treating you like garbage. There was, who was it? It was either Toni Morrison or Maya Angelou, R.I.P., who said something like, when people show you who they are, believe them. Yeah, this Damien Stark dude, no, he's not a hero. He's not somebody that I want to have a happy ending. I want him to get drop kicked off a bridge and hit every pole on the way down. No. So that was my DNF. The book that I thought did it right was, let me get was again also a Audible, and it was The Billionaire Bachelor by Jessica Lemon. Now, I loved this book so much. The writing voice was just fantastic. It was funny, it was sexy, it was heartwarming, it was just, it was about this guy, Reese Crane, who his family owns Crane Hotels, and they are interested in buying or like owning this little kind of boutique-ish, kitschy kind of vintagey hotel called the Van Heusen. And the daughter of the Van Heusen owners, Marina, does not want her parents to sell the Van Heusen. But the parents are like severely in debt, and so Crane Hotels manages to sort of like gobble them up and take over. And the first meeting is, again, there's sparks and there's like friction, because this man wants to take away her warm, welcoming kind of home style hotel and turn it into one of his big skyscraper glitzy glamour, like basically wants to bulldoze it and rebuild it as one of his many glitzy kind of like high-end hotels. And Marina loves her hotel the way it is. So there's the first instance of like the spark and the friction and but it's so wonderfully done, because yes, there's friction, but it's never like he's insulting her or putting her down, or there's friction there, but it's not personal. Like, it's not, he wants the hotel, he wants this business as to be a part of his business. So, and he's, this playboy hotel guy who he wants to be CEO, because his family is run, the hotel conglomerate or whatever is run by his father, who's retiring, and so they're kind of see who's going to be the next CEO guy. And it's sort of like Reese has sort of always been striving for that and wanting to take that mantle. It's sort of like been his life's work, because he's after his mother died, and he has also like a broken heart, where his mother's death hit him really, really hard. It came at like an impressionable age. I think he was like 15 or so. So it really affected his relationships going forward, and he let himself open up to this woman, Gwen, who ended up breaking his heart and cheating on him, and that was horrible, and we don't condone that. But it only like reinforced the wall that Reese puts around himself, and he's tried to like keep that wall up by only having like superficial relationships. The guy who like has the meaningless one night stands and all that stuff to sort of protect his heart and that kind of thing. But he wants to make CEO when his father retires. But the board members are like, for reasons, they're like, oh, we're not sure if we want to go with you for CEO, because you're kind of like, yeah, you work hard and all that, but you kind of got this image as like this playboy who only like, goes through women, and you don't seem very settled and reliable and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, Reese comes up with the plan, and he tells Marina that if she marries him and they stay married for like 6 months, at the end of it, he'll let her keep the Van Heusen, her family's hotel, keep it the way that she wants and yada yada, and he gets to be CEO. With no strings attached. And y'all can see what's gonna happen. There are strings out the yin-yang that happen, and it's beautiful, and just, I love these two so much. Because their spark and their friction, right off the bat, there was a reason that these two were butting heads. He wanted to take her hotel away. She didn't want him to take her hotel away. So yeah, that, in my opinion, was the way to do the enemies to lovers thing right. You don't make the guy an a-hole right off the bat to the girl for no reason. If there's an enemies to lovers, they better be enemies for a good reason, and we better know that reason right off the bat. Because if I'm watching this guy be an a-hole to this girl for like 3 chapters, no. That's not somebody that I want to have a happy ending. But Jessica Lemon did it wonderfully. Jessica Lemon did it how, in my opinion, the sparks and the friction and the enemies to lovers thing really should be. It's just, it's funny, and it's funny without being like trying to be funny, like having funny slapsticky things happen, which I think was my problem with Karina Hale, which I could not get into her, but I have, I don't remember what book it was that I read of hers, that it just, no, like, it felt like it was trying too hard to be funny. This, you know, the tone of it, the voice of it was just, in my opinion, was funny done well. Funny just in the everyday, voice in your head, kind of what you would actually be thinking in that moment. Relatable kind of funny. Jessica Lemon did that perfectly. I loved Billionaire Bachelor so very much, and I'm definitely going to look for more of her books, because there was a little preview of the next book, and it's one of Reese's brothers, which I kind of, you know, when the hero or the heroine have like 5 siblings, you're like, okay, so that's sequel bait, sequel bait, sequel bait, sequel bait. So you know that like a series is coming. So yeah, and I really liked how Gwen, she was kind of like, is kind of going the typical route of like, oh, the evil ex-girlfriend kind of thing, that whole like trope. And then towards the end, it kind of switched, or it's like you didn't hate her. And I really like that they did that. I like how it looked like they were going like one way with her, but then they kind of like turned back and were like, you know what, let's not do that. Let's not do that with her. And I really liked how they did it. I really liked how they played out Gwen's character towards the end. So, bravo, Jessica Lemon, Billionaire Bachelor, totally enjoyed it. Another book-ish that I finished was this comic that my sister gave me a while back, and it's a Riverdale comic. You watch the TV show Riverdale. It's the reimagining of the Archie comics, and they do it as a television show. And in the TV show, Betty and Jughead are a couple, and Archie and Veronica are a couple. Love the show. Need to get back to it eventually. But my sister and I, we just finished Glee, so we're going to be starting now the originals, which was the vampire spin-off of the Vampire Diaries. So we're going to that because that show's already done. I think they went like 5 seasons or so, and Riverdale is still going. So we figured we'd hit on the show that first was already complete, because that would be kind of like, I guess, faster to get through. And then we're going to get back to Riverdale, which I left off at the middle of season, or the beginning of season 2. So this, my sister gave me for, I think it was a birthday gift, a while back. And it's a comic. And in this comic, Archie, Veronica, Jughead, Betty, they go on a trip to New York. And Archie and Veronica meet up with Veronica's friends, and Archie doesn't really feel like he kind of fits in because they're all like her high society kind of friends, people. And Betty and Jughead, meanwhile, go and explore New York, and they kind of questions their relationship because they both have very different reactions to New York, and it's sort of brought home like the different kind of interests that they have, and how are they too different to stay together, and that kind of stuff. And it was a really cute, quick little comic that I highly enjoyed. So this was Riverdale Archie Comics number 8. Yeah. So, and it sort of like takes place between like different episodes of the actual TV show. So, that's what I read in January. I'm about to be halfway through Lone Star's Paulina Simons. Paulina Simons Lone Star. And I'm enjoying it. I feel like it took a bit to get going. I find the first half of it's like a little slow, but Paulina Simons has such a gorgeous writing voice that you're just immersed in it. And that's my nighttime read. I'm halfway through it. I'm not done yet. I am almost finished Folsom by, I can't remember the author, and it's sort of the first book in the End of Men saga, and it's, I don't know, by Taryn Fisher and Willow Astor. Willow Astor, a friend of mine, is, I think, just started a book by her. But Folsom is, how far am I? Yeah, I think I'm almost finished it. I think I'm at like 80 something. 83%, yeah. And it's about like women have sort of like flourished and men have sort of started to become extinct. So, thanks to like war and all that jazz. So yeah, thanks to like war and all that jazz, their numbers are very, very low. So what they've done, women kind of now run the show and run society. They've decided that they're going to keep men as sort of breeding slaves. Like, imagine The Handmaid's Tale, but reversed. It's so good. It's so good, this book, y'all. I'm 83% in. I'm almost finished it. So very much enjoying it. So well done. So well written. I hope to have like a review for you when I do February's wrap up. I should have this book done by the end of February. Let me see what else. So that's Lone Star, my nighttime read. Folsom on my Kindle. Oh, what did I just start? In Audible, I just started C.D. Rice's Pretty Scars, Pretty Little Scars, and it's from her, it's one of her older, Pretty Scars by C.D. Rice, and it's one of her older books, and I love it so far. Oh my goodness. C.D. Rice has sort of been a hit or miss for me in the past year. Her bar for me is still the Marriage Games duet. Marriage Games and Separation Games. That's the bar for me. And then I've had, Prince Charming I loved, but then King of Codes I couldn't get into, and Bombshell I also loved, but then Bodyguard I couldn't get into. So she's sort of like a hit or miss author for me. I have books from her that I really like, and then I have others that just did not work for me, and then I have Marriage Games, which is just the mecca of C.D. Rice. If I were to recommend any book of hers to start with, the Marriage Games duet, Marriage Games, Separation Games, go read those books now. If you like BDSM, because she don't play. It gets kinky and it gets rough up in there. Those two. Start with those two. But Pretty Scars, I'm loving it so far. It seems like it's going to be a very painful, angsty, heartbreaking book, and I'm scared. But I love it so far. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this week's video. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!